Good evening. Welcome to another Let's Grow Pulling. We are, for now, without Jason. He's in Milwaukee doing something about draining a brewery. Picking somebody up at the airport. So that's where he's at. So you're stuck with me, I guess, running the board for now. We've got Doug Borth down there in the corner, manning the home cave.
Beer Money headquarters.
Cody joined us for Vanderhome Media. Mr. Larry Richwine, top corner. Our newest member of the panel, Mr. Michael Idle. Welcome to you, sir. And our guest for tonight, Justina. Thank you for joining us. And you've got something to talk about. So you're here. I'm ready. Let's do it. What are you here for?
So I am with the Medina County Fair Board in Ohio. We are holding a truck and tractor pull this coming Saturday, September 23rd, and just wanted to tell everybody about it and promote it a little bit here. So we're having the NTPA, National Tractor Pullers Association, out, and we're going to be having the Classic Super Stock class, Light Pro Stock class, Modified class, Pro Stock Semi, Pro Stock Diesel 4x4 trucks, and then Central Ohio, we're going to bring them on with a couple of the work stock diesel and 2.6 smoothbore diesel truck class there. And then following that, an open hot farm tractor class. So we look forward to that. Our show's going to start at 7 p.m. With 2 tracks. Run all the NTPA classes at first, go down through the Central Ohio classes, and then follow up with our hot farm class. The gates will open at 5 p.m. We do have a beer garden, so we're excited to have that available for everybody to enjoy their evening with. That'll open at 5 o'clock as well. And then for the kiddies that come, we're having a kiddie pedal pull at 5:30. So everybody's basically entering off of Smith Road. Main general parking is where we'll park everybody for general admission, and then obviously pullers come in through the pits, have a lot of room for there. It's $20 admission to 2 years old and up. You do have kind of the run of the grounds there, so open pits and everything. All kinds of stuff going on. We have some local guys who pull the Pro Stock truck class with NTPA, so we look forward to having those guys out here too, like Corey Frank.
I was going to ask you, how much did Corey and the Humpies pay you to be on this flyer?
Well, sometimes you take a little bribe here. No, I'm kidding. People, and we like to be there for each other, and we all help each other out.
Justine is the brains of that deal, I can assure you. Yeah.
Oh, sometimes Larry knows me all too well.
Yeah, she's the brains. I know for a fact.
Somebody's got to keep all the guys in line, right?
Somebody got to do it.
I do apologize that if someone tries to scan that QR code and it doesn't work, whoever uploaded this did the 1998 AOL dial-up version of that file.
No. I sent a messenger. I should have emailed it. But
I have many forms. But yeah, if you follow us or check us out on MedinaOhioFair.com, you can buy tickets online, find out some information there, as well as we are selling admission at the gates. We do accept cash or credit card there. If there's a big long line, sometimes internet gets pulled down, so it's a little more convenient to try to buy them at home and bring it in and just kind of like skip the line and get through that. So if you scan that QR code, even check out our Facebook page. We got it in a few different places.
That's a pretty innovative kind of thing you're doing with the ticketing there. Talk about that a little bit more. What went into that, and how are you guys implementing it effectively? Because I think a lot of places stand to gain from this.
Yeah, so we use a company called eTix, and we use them for our whole fair, which is our fair is the beginning, first week of August. So this is kind of like a little fall after the fact kind of deal, and we're excited to have it. So we use the eTix for all of our concerts, all of our gate admission. So with that, people can buy ahead, skip the line. They just, if you even take a picture on your phone, just show it, we'll scan it, and you can get right in. We use it for, all kinds of stuff. You can keep track of accountability, how many people come through the gates, during what times and what days. You can kind of see your flow charts there. So you can use it for a whole lot of accounting and bookkeeping and see when your higher flow rates of people are in attendance during the fair. So that's pretty neat.
Is it able to tell you, is it sophisticated enough where you can actually even tell too, like where people are coming from, kind of where your core audience is, and then you can target your advertising back based on that?
Yeah. So, gathering information like their because they're entering online, they're about purchasing with their credit card. So that's all online, and that's gathering that information as well, what locations and everything they're coming from.
I know a lot of people reflexively kind of they kind of hear that and they go, "Oh my God, they're data mining me," blah blah blah, and they get paranoid about it. But in some sense, this is an instance where we're trying to do better for you. We're trying to reach you and get you to engage with the product that we're offering, and in this case, it's the Medina Poll.
Correct. Yeah, that's today's technology. Is everybody's got cell phones, and these things listen to us, and they can target us and our interests. And there's no yellow phone book anymore. It's all online, and it's all digital and all social media. So it's amazing how things have changed into social media advertising and social media driven. So it's pretty neat.
I'm not going to hog all the time because there's a couple of you guys on this panel who understand this concept a lot better than I do. So fire away. I'm going to let you get in here.
I just want to make a comment for the record that all you people who are wearing the tinfoil hats about the data mining, it's not always all bad. Sometimes people are serving up stuff that really are in your interest, and they aren't out to screw you or take advantage of you or sell any data across the universe.
In my defense, you don't want to read my mind.
But Larry, I'll bet you look damn good in a tinfoil hat. Tinfoil fedora on you?
I look like a Hershey Kiss with a beard.
That's a terrifying thought, and I don't ever want to talk about it again.
And that's a very bad visual if you think about it.
Hence the not wanting to talk about it
I
ever
just
again.
don't want to know what the tag says or the label that sticks out.
What?
I just don't want to know where the label sticks out.
Oh, the little pull tab thing. Yeah, it'll say "Do not pull." I'm sure. So, Justina, this is not during the fair. It's a standalone event, right?
This is a standalone event, and we were given the opportunity through NTPA, and as a lot of you may know, Tom Jackson, he is from Medina County with us, so he's part of our crew that's driving this event. Sure. So we're pretty excited about it.
Cool.
And I've, long time ago, hung out with all the wonderful people with NTPA running the scoreboard.
Yes, gentlemen, Justina shot laser for us and traveled with us, and let's put it this way. I don't think I had hair then, but I had more hair then when she did that, put it that way.
Yeah.
You didn't
weren't you right out of college or high school? What were you?
Right out of college. So yeah. And that's, yep.
And that's only been like 2 years ago, right?
Just a couple years. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we're going with stories, Larry, we'll go with that you had hair 2 years ago.
No, oh, well, I still got the same number of follicles, but I can't show them to you.
Don't want to see them.
They moved to the apartment in the rear.
I've never reached for the remove from room button so fast.
And I'm trying not to antagonize.
No, please do. It's fine.
No. Antagonize. We just have the button.
He knows full well that once Larry gets going, he'll either giggle or offend everybody at the same time.
Sometimes
I've never been offended by Larry.
Well, I am an acquired taste. I'm similar to White Castles. Oh. But no, Justina's a great gal, and she runs a good diesel shop over there, done some work for me, and I know that a lot of the customers go to that event. And, of course, I hear about it through Dion Bliss, T-shirt guy. And so that's how I keep up on it, that and Tom Jackson.
Yes.
But it's a good show. How many years is this? You've had this now?
So this would be the first year for this NTPA event at Medina County Fair.
Okay.
I've previously had events, whether it was at Dragway 42 or Lorain County Fair.
Okay.
And I've promoted events through those events in those places as well. So
Cool.
took on from my father, promoting those events all those years.
I'm familiar with him. Yes.
Truck and tractors and stuff. So
We can't pick our parents. Ask my children.
I'll admit to him, I like it. I guess I didn't fall too far from the tree sometimes. I'm in trouble.
Whether we want to or not, we turn into our parents.
Right. I know, right?
Yeah. But no, I know it'll be a good show, and I know Tom Jackson's been a part of it too.
Yeah.
And
so there's a lot of people who have been involved with truck and tractor pulling and building good tracks for many, many years. Many, many years.
Cool. Awesome.
So I'm playing with the new NTPA website, and I'm going through their calendar. This is a Region 2 event, and I'm not super familiar with regional pulling. Are they still doing points after Enderle, or is this more of just a first come first serve kind of pull, or is this an NTPA Region 2 still looking to hook for points show there?
It counts for 24.
Oh, okay.
After the Enderle's over, then anything in that region or what? I mean, there's no Grand Nationals, but like NC State Fairs coming up will count. Anything they run now will count for 2024 Enderle points.
Oh, and the points will just roll right over into that. So I got to watch that classic super stock class for the first time live streaming Enderle. So we might see a lot of these guys that ran last week turn right around. So they got 5 or 6 days off, and then we're starting the season again, basically.
Yes,
that's awesome. That's awesome. That's really cool.
No rest for the weary.
Well,
maybe someday I'll have Dad's tractor back out and in that class. Hopeful.
Well, you'll get it in your spare time, right?
Spare time. That's right. What is that?
I don't know. Well, wait a minute. I know more about it now than I did, say, a year or two ago. So yeah. But no, those points will count for 24 Enderle.
Yep.
That's cool. That's really neat.
So let's hear a plug for the diesel shop then. Larry said you got a diesel shop.
Yes, I do. Diesel truck repairs, maintenance, modifications, anything that revolves around a diesel pickup truck. It's kind of a standalone industry. It's not really the same as big trucks, and it's not the same as automotive. So I guess people have fallen into trusting me and my crew for over 15 years and work on their trucks and try to keep them on the road. So they're all sorts of stuff. We have all sorts of pulls and builds.
I took her a truck from the west side of Indianapolis. I really wouldn't have gone anywhere else. And the best thing is you can trust her and the guys that work with her, and good prices, great service. I mean, I recommend it to anybody. That's a plug for Justina's shop.
Yeah. Reusch Diesel. Yep. We're out of Spencer, Ohio. So in Medina County here.
Does great work.
Thanks.
As unsolicited, no, you don't have to send me $1 or anything.
Yeah, I know, right?
And the truck you fixed is going for sale tomorrow.
Yay, it goes down the road.
But it's been a couple years since I had it there.
Yeah. Yeah, it has. It has.
Yeah.
So we also do like Cummins conversions and different engine and trans swaps and stuff too. So a lot of customization stuff, and I always head up all that stuff, And this is my shop. Cool. I run the shop here. My husband's runs the farm for his family farm, so he tries to avoid this place like the plague. So
when you say Cummins conversions, does that mean like I've got an 85 square body with a GM 6.2 and I want it gone and I want a 6-pot Cummins in it? Is that what we're talking about?
Yep. Cool. Can do that. All kinds of
stuff. So you specialize in the 2-cylinder delete mod.
Yeah, right. That bulletproofing, the real bulletproofing on stuff.
Right. Right.
What's the oddest thing you've ever crammed one into out of your shop?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to finish up a 77 high boy that I'm actually putting a 7.3 Power Stroke in, and I've been building that for my dad. So that's kind of like, I don't know, one of my pride and joys. I've got a 49 VMC 1.5 ton truck in the back that is getting a 12 valve Cummins in it. So I'm in the middle of that build as well. So
Sweet.
just anything.
And you got a bunch of guys work. How many guys you got working for you, Justina?
I got 3 guys. Well, two full-time guys, and I got another guy. He's in placement through high school. So they usually work out pretty good. It's hard to find them young, but I've been pretty lucky the last couple of years and found one a few years ago. And he kind of like can read my mind and like run with what I tell him, or I can just kind of like push him along. And he's my protege. And then, he's the other high schooler. He's come along pretty well, and he's learned a lot too. So my
Cool.
couple of young guys I'm pretty proud of. So
Geez, Adam,
But
are you
I
hammered?
What'd you say?
Adam, are you hammered? We go right down this list.
Yeah.
It said Ford.
I think
That's
he's
all.
just-
I mean, like, it said Ford. He couldn't type fast enough.
Adam
That's
responds a lot.
premature.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't just own the shop, guys. She's a hell of a diesel mechanic herself.
yeah, I'm crazy.
No, you're not. I'm proud to know you. It's like I say, I bring you my stuff.
I appreciate it.
So anyway. Anything else you want to tell us about the pull coming up? You got any major sponsors you need to give them a
Yes.
plug?
We do. We have BME Power Stroke Super Duty Parts. He's just up the road here. He's a pretty good friend of mine. So he parts out Super Duties, Power Strokes only, and pieces parts and sells them across the nation to people. So he's pretty busy with that. We have Schaefer's Oil. My dad, Schaefer's Oil rep. So he's a sponsor with us as well. We got some other local companies. We got Forever Fence and Rail. They're a big supporter of Medina County Fair. And, Ken, we've gotten to know him pretty good. And I work on his trucks too. So got to keep them guys running. We got John's Towing. They're out of Medina as well. They've supported the fair big time. We have a lot of big fair supporters, and they support our events. They support our junior fair and like the livestock. We've got Loggerheads Brewing Company, and they have a brewery in Medina, and then just over next city over is in Valley City is their barbecue restaurant. So they've come on board with us. We have CNL Shoes. They sell Red Wing, Ariat, Justin's, Carhartt, big Carhartt dealer. They supply us with a lot of stuff for the fair, and big fair supporter, and junior fair auction supporter again. So we have a couple Young Seal Coating over towards Lodi. We have Secure Tech. They are a company that put in security and surveillance and alarm systems. They're in Medina. Trying to think what else. Might have to look at my cheat sheet. Burnt Rubber Garage. They do some automotive and more high performance automotive, and they're out of Medina as well. So we're pretty excited to have a pretty good group on with us, and a lot of the help that we get from all the other fair board members and their businesses too.
Sounds like it's pretty organized and some good sponsors. So
yeah. Oh,
Ought to
I can't forget Bad Gear is coming up with their apparel too. I
okay,
can't believe I forgot to put them a plug in, but yeah, we're pretty excited about seeing them and all their Power Stroke, Cummins, Duramax apparel, and they were up here at Dragway last weekend, and they have some Kenworth and Peterbilt and Caterpillar and all kinds of apparel there too. So
they got a good selection, and he'll probably do a TikTok or two and inform us on stuff that he didn't think we knew. I'm sorry.
Hey, my goal every day is to try to learn something new.
I usually learn what not to do.
this, you know what? More so than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're pretty excited. Hoping to see quite a bit of people out there. We got a big following through Medina County and the surrounding counties, Wayne and Lorain and Ashland. So we should have a pretty good turnout and pretty good show, especially some of the locals like Gilettos and some of those guys with the semi trucks. And like
Right.
all the, my favorite, the diesel trucks, and honestly like the classic super, because that's those classic supers. That's where I grew up from, 2 weeks
Right.
old, following dad the tractor pulls. So
Yeah.
but pretty excited about that. I like diesel fuel. It's in my blood.
I'm not going to comment. I'm not going to say nothing.
Yeah,
Anyway, but if you ever need a commercial for your shop, I'll testify.
absolutely. I will take you up on that.
All right.
Careful what you wish for.
Well, thank you for taking time on
What's
your
that
evening
comment?
to join us.
Yeah, thanks
Anything
for
else
having
you
me.
guys want to hit Justina with question-wise before we let her go?
I don't have any questions, but yeah, if anybody has
Thanks
anything.
for reaching out. We're happy to help.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate you too.
And best of luck in doing it.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
You're going to have the weather for it. It'll be sweater weather. So maybe if
It will
Dion
be.
shows up, he can sell hoodie sweatshirts.
Yeah, we need like all these guys to sell these sweatshirts. I know Taylor, she'll have our apparel up there and trying to promote some of my one Cummins conversion truck will be up there and on
Cool.
display and stuff. So
Have you still got the 6-door truck, the big one?
I do. I was thinking about selling it because I sold the mobile chassis dyno and had to take up. My kid likes to do show cattle, beef cattle, so we spend our winters doing that instead of so much in the diesel industry. But
children
got to do what he wants to do.
Children seem to change our priorities in life.
They do. They
But
do.
it's okay. It's their turn, but you can still have fun.
Yeah. So
Did you
everyone's
hear that, guys? She had a chassis dyno too, guys. Did you hear that? I mean, it's a full service facility.
Yeah. Yep. Do all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Anything to make them run good and economic and do everything somebody needs for whatever they need during that day.
Well, I know we appreciate you coming on tonight. So good deal.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All righty.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
You, Justina.
We'll see you. Thanks. Bye.
All right.
She really is a hell of a diesel mechanic, guys. She really is. So
good deal. Cool. Glad to hear it.
Anyway.
Well, hey, breaking news. Hot off the presses.
You found the airplane?
Yeah, we found the airplane.
That wasn't breaking news. I mean, how can you lose an F-35?
Well, they're meant to not be found. So, no, hot off the presses. The application for National Farm Machinery Show is now live. At champpull.org. You've got from now until October 16th to get it into them if you want to be a part of the new one, the new edition of that event. And if you've been there in the past, they're mailing them out. You're going to get yours anyway. But if you've never been there before, here's your shot. It's live on the website right now. So go get in on it.
Cool beans. So where did everybody go this past weekend? I know I was at that, what is it, Enderle pull-off thing. I mean, where does everybody else go?
I was there for part of it. I've survived through the regional portion of the show, and then before the Grand National side of it started, I had a decision to make, and I erred on the side of caution and went home because I was feeling all kinds of evil, and it was a good choice. I hated to miss it, but I made the right call because I would not have survived.
Well, I didn't get to see the regional show because I was hoofing T-shirts for full pull. And they've established that if you want to get rid of T-shirts, put Rich Wine at the table because he'll hoof some T-shirts. But I did get to see the Grand National show. Huh?
You got a new position.
Well, most of my positions are setting down, but the Grand National show was a hell of a show. It's what you set the sled 14 times in one night. How can it not be a hell of a show?
They certainly weren't afraid to let them get out and run. I saw that live streaming it from home. Those were some big boy distances being put up this weekend, but it looked like they had 500 foot of track to play with. So, no one likes a sled reset. Let them get out and run. That's an all-star pull.
I think the scoreboard was like 490 feet. So, I mean,
Yeah. 421 was the long run of the night.
Yeah, for the Smoking Ya HD. Well, like the top three in that super stock diesel truck class were all over 400 feet.
You can
Well,
go
they
past
don't
the
really
trailer
get
if you
hooked
want
up.
to. Just aim for the corners.
There you go.
They don't really get hooked up and going to about 150, 180 feet when the truck actually
Yeah.
starts working. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they can use that other end of the track. And Bauer and everybody knows that. But they did come over. I was kind of behind the fire truck where, you know, I wasn't supposed to be, but yet I was, and nobody said anything. And they did come over and move everybody back a little bit after Eric did that. So, but it was an awesome show. Yeah.
How do we feel about
Corporal running 41 miles an hour had to be kind of entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, he just laid it down. Yeah, he Les had a hell of a run. He did, really did. So, how do we feel about what?
How do you guys feel about the 400-foot mark? I know for a long time, everyone was kind of married to the 300, and then that, you know, that kind of went out the door. And then it was like, well, the magic number is as long as we're not touching 4. And I was kind of married to that firmly, you know, stay away from 4. But Matt Goodwin up in Wisner, Nebraska, when he went over 400, he kind of firmly divorced me out of the anti-400 club. And since then, I've kind of embraced it. But I know a lot of people think, you know, we don't want to see the number 4 starting a distance and pulling. So how do you feel about that?
A lot of places don't have the room for it. I mean, like Bowling Green, if you go 3, and that's why they ask for and get pull-offs. If you get 350 or 360, especially on the north track, you're right there next to them concrete barriers. I mean, like really close.
Imagine doing it at Brandenburg.
Oh, well, you'd be over and through the woods, yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be in the registration booth with the girls.
Yeah. You'd be climbing the hill, literally.
Yeah, their registration booth's right next to the fried bologna sandwiches. It's awesome. And okay, that guy knows where food is. But well, we had some pretty good distances at sandwich, though, didn't we, Doug?
Yeah.
I mean, we had some, you know, like 370, 360. So they're letting them run more.
Rockwell's got plenty of room to run too. I remember
Yeah.
a couple 380 mini passes there. You know, you're on the verge of not having any fuel left at that point.
Yeah.
Well, that's just it. When we started going 350, Bob Jostock put on larger fuel tanks. I mean, you know, and Enderle's always somewhere. If you're going to come across a scale full of fuel, it better be really full of fuel because you're going to need it. Yeah.
Well, what was it? The Sheltons several years ago ran at Toma, and they put the bigger blowers on and drove the tractor out and backed it up, and just died midway down the track with a full head of steam. And they realized later they legitimately had run out of fuel, which is why you always see them, you know, kind of trailering the vehicle or assisting the vehicle on the track now. So it can happen, evidently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say I'm not
Von Bauer
particularly.
started that.
I'd say I'm not particularly a fan of the huge runs like that. I don't really like it, but I've also kind of broken away from the idea that it has to be 300 feet in a cloud of dust. You know, those days are kind of gone. I've kind of put my head around the metric full pull, if you will. You know, 330 feet, 100 meters. I'm fine with that. I think it works well, and it gives enough leeway to be safe and still have a good fast run and not, you know, kill these guys by having a real heavy sled.
Well, personally, I think 350 is far enough. I thought 320 was far enough, but in my mind, the track's still 300 foot long. But now there's one person that wants to make a pull off every time, and that's Bill Voorhees, who has his tractor out. He's got a new tractor built. He made a pass at Roanoke and made a heck of a pass. And he may come down to Brown County coming up. Maybe we can talk about that here in a little bit. Brown County Fair is coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend. But I'll be headed there this weekend. I probably won't be on Monday because of that. So you guys can all go, God, Larry's not here. Good. So Jason, you know, he can take it.
Or you can go live on location.
Live from the camper or the portalet? I'm sorry.
Works.
Monday night at the Brown County Fair is traditionally, well, Monday and Tuesday both are demo derby nights. I guess I could go live from the demo derby, which I wouldn't walk across the street to see. I can go to Walmart Sunday after church and watch a demo derby. So anyway, but yeah, it's winding down, but at the same time, like you say, we're already starting the 2024 Enderle points, which I think is kind of cool.
That I didn't realize that. That's super neat. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I think we're booked out on events till about the middle of November, and then we'll be done till the second week of January. So.
Well, I wondered if he was going to come down to Georgetown or not. I mean, they have 4 nights of pulling. I didn't know if you guys was coming down or not.
Which one?
Brown County Fair, Georgetown, Ohio. There's 4 nights. It's kind of a non-sanctioned Grand National. It's been a sanctioned NTPA pull before, but so many dollars get on the grounds for the whole fair, rides and all, and they seat about 8,000 or 9,000 people, and it'll be standing room only on Friday and Saturday night especially, but they pull Wednesday and Thursday as well, and Wednesday will be the lightest night, but I mean, they pack them in. I mean, that's just an awesome crowd.
And
They're going to do a live stream for Wagglers next week.
That's right. Okay, yeah. Wagglers, yeah.
I know they used to do a GN poll like in the springtime. Was the fair poll points as well for NTPA way back when?
Years ago, I think it was a couple years, but the one you're talking about was always in June. It was always a standalone event, but they just seem to have trouble getting people to come and buy enough tickets to support it, even though they had a good line of sponsors. But yeah, it's I don't know if they sent you the handbill or not. I know I sent it to Jason. I don't know if he forwarded it to you.
I don't see it in here, but we will definitely have it for next week. As it comes in. It's a bucket list pull. I mean, it's definitely one to go see. I've never made it there, but I always it's kind of one I sit there and go, man, if I could get that weekend free, I would go. It just doesn't seem to quite work out.
Charles, it is in the chat.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It is. Okay. I thought I put it up there on the chat too.
I'm sorry.
But it's traditionally it's where everybody gets that first hook under their belt. Like Mason Theobald last year, he hooked there first time ever. Chad Mayhill's son, can't think of his name off the top of my head. He's going to make a pass in Old Blue. That's where the Phillips kid. He was 16 for almost 3 years there and made a pass. But there's the thing. But Wednesday night they got Super Farms 4-wheel drive trucks, super modified 4-wheel drive trucks, Ohio modified tractor puller mod tractors, which is twin engines, and then 5200 economy hot rod tractors, single engines, and that's Wednesday. And then Thursday they got light pro NTPA rules, 6250 light limited supers. That'd be Larry Phillips and friends, and 10,000 pro hot farm 9500 hot farm or Brian Carrington and friends if he has any left, and NTPA rules, and 10.5 pro stock open. So that's on Thursday. Friday night they got 8,000 supers. Triple bypass said, Larry, could I come to that? And I went, oh my God, yes, please tell me you're coming. And sometimes Gettingers come down, a bunch of them. I mean, seriously, Jeff's been down there before. It's a place everybody goes to experiment. Let's put it this way. Sometimes there's more flames coming out of the pipe than normal. And
tipping the can, maybe a little?
I don't know. I'm just the announcer. I have no idea. 8,300 super stock mini rods are Friday night. I do know that we're going to be light on mini rods. So if anybody's watching tonight or knows somebody that wants to come down and make a mini rod pass, they're 20, 50 mini rods. And I know for a fact we're going to be light on mini rods. And then 8,000 pound alcohol and 8,500 pound diesel tractors run together on Friday night. And then Saturday is 63 mods, 6,300 mods, 62 super stocks, 7,800 mod tractors. The Kentuckian Wayne Sullivan has been there the last 15 years. He may or may not be this time because somebody on his crew's got a daughter getting married. Why they don't check with the pulling schedule, I don't know. And then they have 6,200 pound 2-wheel drive truck, Jesse Petros and friends. That'll be a big class, and there'll be a lot of them. But also, I might add, and I know we got some fans that have texted me and emailed me on Facebook and messaged me, the National Micro Mini Tractor Pullers Association, Saturday on the 30th at noon. And I believe it's the sheep barn or the sheep arena. And it's like, believe it or not, I think it's like 40 some odd years they've been pulling micro minis there. It's tabletop. It's not the dirt micro minis like Jason's tractor ran at Bowling Green, but it's tabletop stuff, but it's awesome. But it's the 172nd edition of the Brown County Fair. They call it the Little State Fair, and I've been a part of it over 20 years. And I go down there and see my Brown County Fair family once a year. But it really is a stellar event, even though it's not sanctioned with anybody basically. But we do it NTPA rules. So look, there's Jeremy. He just said Brown County Fair is a great show. Seriously, a lot of stuff gets come down there. They experiment, do stuff. And like I said, Bill Voorhees wanted to know if he'd come play. I believe he's going to play. I told him he could come every night. Wait till the show's over. He can make a test pass every night. Try something. But the crowd's awesome. I got one guy sits right down in front of the announcer booth. Charles, you'll like this. And he'll come up there. Show starts at 7 every night. And I limp my crippled butt up to the top. Beautiful new grandstand. Nice air conditioned and heated box to sit and talk in. And he'll be up there 4 to 5 hours before showtime because he don't want nobody to take his spot. And he did that even before they quit telling him to not tape a blanket down, But it really is an awesome show. And if anybody's got nothing to do, the 27th through 30th, mark down every night, go to the Brown County Fair.
You mentioned Jeff Hurt. Are the rumors true? And could he be making a test pass of his own down there?
Well, I talked to him quite a bit the other day at the Enderle pull-off, and I don't know. He said if he got it together, he would. He said he probably wouldn't be bringing minis. One of the minis is still in North Carolina. He left it down there. And then the other mini, I believe it's being refurbished already for next season. But no, he did talk about he might bring one of the supers down and make a test pass. But seriously, if nothing else, you'll see people run their first run ever. And like I say, nobody checks fuel. So, but it really is a heck of a show. And it's got Singer's sled, the newest one that he bought from Bowers will be there, and with a backup sled, and near passes, mini sleds coming down. That's why I would like to get some more minis to come. I'm a little worried about we're going to be light on minis, I'm afraid.
You said Jeff might bring one of his supers down. Does he still have 2 of them? Does he still have the fast lane tractor, or am I behind on some news here?
No. He still has the one with the electronic fuel injection that he can't run with NTPA. He said it was not going to be out of the barn for a while because he said it's got some issues and he just haven't got the parts.
And I also noticed you said you're going to run a mixed fuel class. You're going to let the alkies and the diesels run side by side, but you're going to give the diesels 500 pounds to play with.
Correct.
We're kind of doing the Louisville kind of springboarding off of what they do there as well. So
they've actually done that for several years when the alcohols got light and the diesels got light,
Mm-hmm.
But they've done that for quite a while and it works good. There's a bunch of groups. Back east and stuff, they got combo classes and stuff. Yeah. It works good, but it's almost damn near run what you run.
Yeah.
But the classes are organized, but it's nothing to have 4, 5, 6 test passes or experimental passes.
Mm-hmm.
When the show's over, don't go away, hang around because you're going to see some interesting stuff. That's all I can say.
Sounds fun. Sounds like a great time.
Yeah.
Sounds like I'm kind of high on the Brown County Fair. Well, you know why? Because it's awesome. It really is.
Where is Georgetown?
Georgetown is east of Cincinnati.
How far?
East of Cincinnati, I don't know, 20 minutes, 25 minutes on 125. You can come down from the north through Mount Orb. I left Enderle. It was 2 hours south of Enderle. I dropped my camper, and then I bobtailed home to Indianapolis. It was a little less than 3 hours. So I-70 is so dang rough. I didn't want to drag it home 3 hours and then drag it back down there 3 hours. So I just went on down 68, nice road, because I'm kind of a wimp. And I don't like to be bounced around the truck. I get jostled easy.
I did have to appreciate Denver's comment at the Enderle Friday night. He was introducing somebody who was a Michigan puller, and he asked him, "Is it true that once you get a nice road up there, they're bound and determined that they're going to tear it up?" And yes, that's true.
Well,
Can confirm.
Indiana was the first state in the union to get all of Eisenhower's plan done of an interstate, system. And so that means our roads go bad first. But seriously, you get east or west of Indianapolis on I-70, it's ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. I just knew that my toy box trailer had come off the ground at least twice, but the golf cart was still strapped down, but the straps were very loose by the time I got to Enderle. But yeah, I didn't come back that way. I come back up 74 from Cincinnati, but it's a beautiful fairgrounds, great facility. All the pits are graveled. There's no, if it rains, nobody gets stuck in the pit area. I mean, it's just a nice place. So anyway, I recommend it to anybody that wants to come out. Some of the guys that sign on here and comment, well, you've seen Jeremy. They'll probably be down there too, I'm sure, won't you, Jeremy? I know you're listening and watching, but it's a great show, it really is. Yes, Adam knows 70 is awful in Indiana. Yeah,
65 north is no better than Indiana.
Well, yeah, but 65 north, you got the Bermuda Triangle up there north of Lafayette, where you could go off the road in the snow in the middle of July. I mean, it's just that section of roads. It's like going into the twilight zone. But yeah, 65 is not much better. But I swear to God, east, they have worked on I-70 east for at least 30 years. And the interstate system has been done since like 69 or 70. But going through Indianapolis is awesome now. It only took 3 years to do it. But if you go through Indy, north or south or east or west, it's a breeze.
It's all done?
Yeah, it is. It finally is. Yeah, it's Indianapolis going through. It's awesome. But it only took 3 years.
I-70 in Indiana is the only time that Larry's ever walked by the ratchet strap without saying it's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Well, I guarantee you, if you're going across 70, by God, it's going to go somewhere on your trailer. It'll be bouncing somewhere. But it's definitely a chain or Harbor Freight strap checker. I don't have any Harbor Freight straps on my golf cart, if that tells you anything.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I did get a text. They're having another sale. But yeah, that's my plug I wanted to do tonight, guys. But seriously,
Which, the Brown County Fair for Harbor Freight's upcoming sale?
Brown County Fair, because Harbor Freight, they will get to you. Whoever does their marketing, and I'm talking
They do a
emails,
damn good
texts,
job.
etc.
Yes, they do.
That guy should get more than the CEO or whoever it is of Harbor Freight. They're almost like Dollar General. I'm just saying, there was one 11 miles from my house. Then they built one 8 miles from my house. And either one of those two stores, I can walk in. They go, "Hi, Larry, what do you need today?" That's me and Don Dean both patronize the one. But yeah, it's one of those deals, They quit giving away the flashlights, though. My God, I had to buy one the other day.
Don got my attention a little bit there Saturday night. It kept popping, and I was waiting for it to go bang.
Well, he was bouncing off the overspeeds.
Yeah.
He actually, even though that was an excellent track, he's got too much gear or too little gear or whatever it is, but he bounces off the overspeeds, especially that one motor pops because it's the overspeed shutting it off and turning it on, shutting it off and turning it on. That's what makes it pop. And it's not near as dangerous as it sounds, but it does make you go, "Oh God."
Yeah. Fortunately, my shutter skills were not good enough to catch it with the shooting fire when it did it, but I tried.
Right. Well, you'll have that.
Yeah.
Don Dean don't care for fire shows. I keep telling him, just leave that thing alone with me about an hour and a half, and you'll have fire shows when you start it. But he don't like fire shows. So anyway,
well, there's probably decent reason for that. I mean, the whole idea is to not be on fire.
Well, I'm talking selling T-shirts, putting butts in the stands when you fire it. That's the only time you get a good fire show.
True. I mean, everybody in the world knows who Art Arfons is for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Bingo.
Right.
No.
Right. The one on Dusty's tractor, she didn't hit the button manually like Art did. It was actually automated. She'd flip a switch and it would go boom, 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 boom. And that was all on a timer because she goes, "I can't do that, Dad." And I was very good friends with Arthur. He called my son the little redheaded kid. And when we was building the Jet Cadet when he was like 9 years old, and I talked to him quite a bit. And his son Tim had to help us get the JFS 100 going because we got it off of a genset starter unit, and it had me and Don Dean both baffled. So I had to bite the bullet and call Timmy. our funds. But no, Art was quite a gentleman. Lived in the house till the day he died. The Firestone built him when he set the land speed record. Firestone built him the ranch style home that he lived in. Yeah. Yeah.
Solid.
Art was a good friend. So,
Anybody got any insight on this one? I have no idea. I have not heard.
well, I'm out of that loop. I don't know if they got it done or not, Jeremy. I do know that they did disallow the rotary engine that spits oil and farts and carries on when it starts. It's no longer. It had a variance to run, but then they wanted to have a rule for it, and it did not get it done. I hope for Bargie's and a couple other ones' sake, they did get the horsepower increased because it hadn't changed in years, and that's part of the reason why Dave Snyder quit, because he just didn't have enough power to compete in the 75 mod. But Bargie's can make waves.
As far as I know, Dave
think
still has both of those sitting in a trailer in West Michigan.
Oh yeah, yeah. When Robert, my son, got out of the Air Force, I called him trying to buy the Legend because, like I told you, Art thought the world and all of my kid, and he just got home from the Air Force, and I called Dave and I said, "Oh, I'd like to buy the Legend." He goes, "Well, you got to buy it all or none." I went, "What?" He goes, "You got to get the Space Invader, the semi trailer, the Gator to start some, and the Legend. One price. You hook a semi tractor to it and haul it home." And I told him, I says, "Well, not that I couldn't probably finagle enough to do it. I just don't need the Space Invader," which, whatever. But I guess I did talk to Chelsea, his younger daughter. She was at Bowling Green visiting Mackenzie LaRue, Tom LaRue's daughter. They always hung out. And she said that they did finally unload the Gator, but it had been up there till like a year ago, still on the top of the trailer. But no, those tractors are sitting right where they parked it in the semi trailer. Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, it is.
I'd like to have the Legend so Robert could have it. So anyway, I might even drive a little bit.
Are Walsh's turbines at the PPL let's run? I mean, why are they not legit? All the rules are the same for everything else. Why can't they run NTPA?
Well, and that was the argument. I said in the mod committee meeting there at Enderle on Friday when they had the committee meetings, one of my goals was to help eliminate the rotary engine from being allowed because it's just damn dangerous. And I shouldn't have said that as a former tech head official, but it's damn dangerous. And but no, Walsh's tractors, especially the Challenger, needs that higher horsepower to run with us at NTPA. I'm pretty sure they got it done, Charles. I don't know. We'd have to call somebody on the WPI board.
Yeah, it'll come out in time, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, it'll come out. I mean, it might be next week before everything gets put on the internet, but I'm hoping it happened. Then and Walsh asked, and Walsh had actually written in, and on the NTPA rules agenda, they actually had his submission and asked that we raise it because they want to come play. So
good. I'd like to see them.
Well, for years I was the only guy on any of the exec boards for years that even liked turbines. And so they'd all look at me over the top of their glasses and go, "Do you really need those?" And they talk about how long it takes to start them. And honestly, Don Dean can make the 3 minutes and tries to, but Walsh's Challenger's got a little JFS 100 auxiliary power unit like we had in the Cub Cadet, one on each engine. I mean, it's like Soyason's tractor. He used to hit it, fire it, and run. Well, they can too. So it's one of those deals. Walsh's tractor is not an issue on starting it time wise, but Snyder always pushed that too far. But whatever.
What about the 4 Aces tractor? That's bigger. Those are bigger motors, right?
Well, that one started in the NTPA. That was built.
Oh, yeah.
That was LD Nations, and he debuted that like at Mount Sterling or somewhere around 2017 or somewhere in that ballpark, I want to say.
You are correct. It was 2017, and he did it in the unlimited, where the power is unlimited.
Yeah, you're right.
And to quote LD, "Well, god dang, I don't know why I can't run in the mod class too, Larry. Eagles just ain't got that much power." But they're both the JFTD12s, and they're actually hard to identify because the tags are destroyed on them. I didn't say that, but they are. As far as, I mean, they're JFTD12, but the series of the engine determines the horsepower. I mean, like Well, Don Dean's 2 outside engines are Lycoming T53 as well. I've got a picture on the wall behind me of a T53 L1 that ran in the late 50s and Vietnam, and then they went L3, L5, L7, L11, L13, and on up L15. And Don Dean's got an L11 on one side and a L13 on the other side. The one we had on Bob's mini rod that bounced like a ball was an L13, and it's almost twice the horsepower, shaft horsepower, as the L1, but it weighed 10 pounds more is all it weighed than an L1. All they did was change the compressor and add another stage and put some more fuel to it. But turbines, even though I love them and understand them, it's xenophobia. Everybody else goes, well, we can't count the blower pulleys and determine how much overdrive or anything. I mean, and I understand that. I understand that rationale. But the best thing I can say about turbines as opposed to piston engines is LD happened to be on the same plane, and I can't tell you who it was. Somebody had Aries at the time, and they're on the same plane going to Las Vegas. The last time we had NTPA banquet in Vegas. And I think it was Ronnie Reed, actually, had Aries or something, the Hemis. And when LD walked past him on the plane, he goes, hey, look out there on that wing. Do you see that goddamn Aries hanging on the wing? And he went, no. He goes, that's because they're dangerous as hell. He says, a goddamn turbine's going to get your butt to Vegas. I don't ever want you to hear anything or say anything. But, and LD told the story. And I think Ronnie told the story. I'm sure it was Ronnie Reed. But look out there on that wing. You see an Aries hanging out there.
I can hear LD saying that.
Oh yeah, he called me because he's racing alcohol dragsters again, which he always gets loaded in at least the second round, sometimes the first. And he called me, and he goes, "Hi," he says, "Ain't we friends no more, Larry?" And I went, "Well, sure we are." "Well, goddamn, you never call." And I says, "Well, you just called me." "Well, I just couldn't take it no more. I had to call you." And he was in town, the National Drags, and I said, "Are you loaded yet?" "Well, goddamn, I don't have to take that," he said. Because they start racing on Wednesday, and he's usually loaded by Thursday. But I'm sorry, LD, if you're watching. I know he's not. He'd have to have Ruthie bring it up on the computer or Brent or somebody for him. But LD's a great guy and a good friend. Not everybody gets along with him. You used to hear him going around with Gardner Stone. My goodness, they had a time. But no, he called me, "Ain't we friends no more, Larry?" I said, "Sure we are." "Well, you never call." So anyway, but yeah, the problem with all my stories, I should have wrote them down, but they'd be in a book. They would put it on the fiction shelf, but they'd actually be true. But
Truth is stranger
Doug,
than
you were at Sandwich, Doug. Did you ever hear so many people do woohoo? My God, they did it so loud on the live stream, and you could hear them over the tractors.
Right. You are an official ringmaster. You can get the crowd to do anything.
Well, no, but those two people sitting down in front of me, probably in their mid to late 20s, sharing a corn dog, a foot-long corn dog, gentlemen. They had a stripe of ketchup on one side and a stripe of mustard on the other. And I looked down and I go, huh. And he would lick one side and then take a bite. And then she'd lick the other side and take a bite. And I said, "Ladies and gentlemen, all I can tell you is I wish they had more money because obviously they got to share that corn dog. But if they keep doing that, they're not going to stay here long. They're going to have to go back to the car." I mean, it was, well, I mean, I don't know. Did LD ever respond to Billy Beers when he told her on TV, "Well, put them turbines back in the plane"? I tell you, somebody that had a heck of a grin on their face, and that was Billy Beers the other night when he won. Best pass. Best pass ever for him. Do what? But it's enough of Larry. But sorry, guys, but you got me going. I'll shut up.
So just on the turbine question, being you're the guru, would LD's setup make the mod class with the power increase or not?
I don't think so. They had two proposed horsepower ratings. One of them was 9,450 and the other one was 10,000 something. And I don't think LD's tractor would fit it. It'd be close. A lot of it would determine who was judging what turbine engine it was.
What about Gardner Stone's setup?
Oh yeah, he could have
That
made
would
it.
make it again.
The problem with Gardner Stone's setup, I think he still got it actually, about like Schneider does. That chassis took a beat so much that by today's standards, Gardner's chassis wouldn't hook up. With the Metos tires, he couldn't make the weight, and that chassis has been tweaked so many times that, I mean, they do wear out, guys. They really do wear out.
It always looked kind of different too. It was almost like a platform as opposed to like, your Engler style,
Right.
whatever you want to call them. It was really a truly different looking chassis compared to what you see, running now or even at the time. So.
And those back two motors kind of hung out there, and you'd see them gyrating and all kinds of harmonics going on, which turbines hardly ever have harmonics because they spin so fast. But those top two motors would get to rolling around, and I just knew one of them was going to break off someday, but they never did, thank God. But they were not suspended by anything in the front other than God and gravity. So,
Larry, you mentioned that LD was racing, I presume, alcohol dragsters again. What organization is he running with?
He runs mostly IHRA, but he does some NHRA stuff. He's done that over the years. When he went from going to super stocks to mods and then two wheelers, whenever he'd disappear from NTPA or PPL, he would go racing. And it was always alcohol dragster. I think he had alcohol funny car one season. I'm not sure. But he gave up driving them. He just owns them. I don't know who's driving for him. But when he drove them, God love him, he'd get loaded on the trailer even faster. Anyway, but no, he's always, and same thing with Purser. Purser's had some alcohol dragsters and some stuff. Same thing. I mean, you can't take the puller out of the system. Well, they're racers too. You can't get that out of the system. Two of the racers that have come to tractor pulling that are still involved. One, of course, Ken Veeney, the king of drag racing and pulling. But the other is Mike Beck. Mike Beck always used to go drag racing, and he come and he stuck around. But everybody else seemed to come and last a while and go. But
I think Chuck Knapp got the opportunity. He'd go racing.
I think he would. I think he would. Yeah. He God knows he likes to go fast. So yeah. But no, it's amazing how many of them come and go. But between Ken Veeney and Mike Beck, they've actually stayed in pulling consistently longer than anybody. But LD, I think he was pulling back in the mid early 70s, super stock and stuff. Used to pull against Dave Schreier back there when he had the John Deere. So I mean, LD goes way back. But yeah, I've seen him come and go. I've seen him stay around. I guess I really am old. Huh? Never thought about it.
Well, at least you've come to terms with it.
Well, honestly, a year ago, I was a little butthurt and not really angry that they retired me, when my contract was up. They did it correctly. But I'm not so sure now with all that's going on in the sport, they might have done me a favor. And I have to admit, I've had a pretty stress-free summer and enjoyed working with full pool people and being at the events. And those people are my summer family. It's like going to a family reunion and a tractor pool breaks out, And I'm still that creepy uncle in the corner that your mom tells you, don't go see him. He's got candy, but you really don't want
it. Yeah. That's the first believable thing you said all night, Larry.
One thing about Larry, he don't lie to you. Take him or leave him, like him or not, I won't lie to you. You got no reason to. Too hard to think of the same answer next time. So, anyway. So we got anybody else coming on tonight, Charles?
No, it's a cruise show for the remainder of it. How's Bedford for you guys that went out there?
Moist.
Moist?
Real moist. Yeah, they got about, I don't know, an inch of rain the night before, had a half inch the morning of, and then 10 minutes before showtime had another 1/4 inch at least. So it's supposed to be.
I was going to say probably a half.
Yeah.
You could just watch the color draining from Brent's face. I was standing up in the booth with him. They were running some 3LM farm stocks, and you just suddenly out of nowhere, I mean, you see it coming. And I looked at Cody, and because he was standing next to me, and I asked, to tell me that rain shaft isn't going to hit us. He's like, I think it just barely might miss us. Oh no, it clipped us pretty good.
Yeah.
Well,
So we had a little bit of a delay, and supposed to be a 2-track show. They got things kind of worked out and shoved a bunch of mud off, and that's a gumbo track. So as long as you get the water and the slick off, it'll still be a track. And I know there's a puller from up north a ways, and all night long, because their class decided not to pull, and all night long he's like, this is my favorite track of the year. He's like, I love this track, and I want to be out there so bad. And he was just cringing the whole time because he wanted to pull. So, but we had 5 of 9 classes, ended up pulling. Got to see a pass with Richards Jar International that was smoking. I mean, that thing was stellar.
That thing freaking rips.
Yeah.
If we can get that down to diesels and dark corners, all you East Coast boys, you're on notice.
That's a 4.6 though. That is not a 4.1.
It's a what?
You certain of that?
4.6. It's not a 4.1.
That's not what Ron was saying the other night.
Unless they just changed it, which they could have. But I know when I talked to Roberts, we were talking about that truck, and they get 2 inches less drawbar, but they can run them.
And where was this at, guys?
Bedford, Iowa.
Okay.
It's an outlaw hook.
Okay. Cool.
This will be their first year for an outlaw hook. They've had it for several years now, and first year for an outlaw hook. Brent's been the promoter and put it on. He was on last weekend or last week's show.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's and the crowd stayed. I mean, we missed a few fans from the rain type of thing because they left thinking we weren't going to have a show. But basically, I mean, everyone pretty much stayed around for the most part. So it was still packed. I got a Snapchat from somebody when Kinsey panned the camera around to show the crowd, and it says, "Holy shit!" Yeah. So.
Well, I'll have to get some crowd shots while I'm at Georgetown, but it's the same thing. It's like, where do these people come from? I mean, it's just amazing. But evidently the stuff that we do and are involved in, gentlemen, evidently the people like it.
Yep.
So the 4-wheel drives did not hook at Bedford?
Thornton's hooked ramrod and backdraft as exhibition. Yeah. But each class was given the option to speak amongst themselves and decide whether or not they wanted to hook. The track was fine, but it was down to 1 lane, and so it would have made for a very, very long show. And furthermore, all that rain did a number on the pit. And sure. I mean, every hauler except for 1 or 2 got towed out of there by an 8R310.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bad. And so they were given the choice. Do you want to hook? Mm-hmm. And, whatever happens. If you get if you get the pretty paint all muddy, we're sorry. You're going to have to hook that Wayne Spencer, or you're going to have to stop at a Blue Beacon and hose it off. Most of the higher horsepower classes said no. We'd rather forego points and just get on up to Spencer. Mm-hmm. But the smaller horsepower guys and the semis, since they weigh in at 20,000 pounds, and I don't think a single one of them got mired up in the backfield. They were all able to get where they needed to go. And
cool. Larry, you were at Chapel Hill this year, and that reminds me, I think the big deciding factor was they felt that Friday night ran out at Chapel Hill. The track would have been okay, but it was getting the vehicles up there through the mud, and so many drivers spoke up about having mud on the tires coming off the line in their whole shots. And then they really expressed that was something. So it sounds like Bedford had a similar situation then.
Well, getting to the track wouldn't have been an issue because it's all stone. Once you get to the scale area, I mean, it's all stone up in that part. The biggest thing was getting in and out of the pits with the haulers and then the tractors getting out of the back of the semis and rutting up the pits, getting to the stone. Mm-hmm. But it was definitely a consideration, and they very seldom have had a problem where they had to rain it out, but they thought it would be the best for everybody, and the pullers agreed.
Yeah.
So that it was one of those, the committee decided together with the pullers that it was the best thing to do. But you're correct. That was Friday nights. That's the way it happened. Yeah. Oh. And it did. It was just torrential downpours. I mean, it was muddy in the pit area. Nobody moved, and luckily it saved the grass. But a lot of their pit areas on the ball field, see, and baseball diamond and football practice field. And it would have took a lot of money and time to fix that for the school. So that's what happened.
So the right call all the way around.
Oh yeah, and today's pullers, they're different than the old guys that used to haul them in on flatbed trucks, and you had to require the promoter to have a loading dock so they could get it off the truck. I mean, it's a different breed of puller, and everything's shiny and show quality, and I don't blame them. I mean, it takes a long time to get that stuff off the tractors and get so they can go again or make weight. I mean, it's just part of it, So, wow, I'm getting all kinds of messages tonight.
Badger State 4-1 boys couldn't catch a break over the weekend.
Do what?
Friday, Badger State 4-1s. They Friday night the sled broke 2 tractors in, broke both drive chains and a shaft, so they called the rest of the show. They get down to Monroe on Saturday. 2 classes left. Starts to rain. They had to call it. 4-1s didn't run again. So they had 2 tractors down the track, and then the 2-wheel drives also got rained out down there.
Is everybody else's basically national level circuits are they about done? I mean,
Outlaw's got one more hook in Lufkin, Texas.
Yep.
Okay.
That's in a month.
So, I know PPL's done, I know, other than the regional stuff and state stuff. But they don't call it regional.
Badger State's done this weekend. WTPA's done.
Cool. Well, it is. I mean, around here, there's a couple guys trying to start harvesting. I mean, it's still pretty green around here, but it is that time.
It is.
Yeah, that show in Lufkin, if it wasn't all the way down in Texas, I mean, that'd be a good looking show though. They've got modifieds, they got pro stocks, they got the diesel 3.0s and the 2-wheel drives. So those 2-wheel drives out of the Outlaws, that's a fun competitive class. 2-wheel drives is something I've kind of fallen in love with, and of course I got all those Texas guys down there, so I think it's neat they get to wrap it up in their home state. But that'd be a neat one to see. I think there's a big truck show, like a semi-truck show down there.
They got drag races too.
Drag racing too.
So it's cool. a diesel extravaganza, that right, huh? Well, what, Doug, drag the full pull trailer down there, and I'll call Chase and say, hey, you're buying the hotel room, and I'll fly down there.
That's not. Is that deal part of the pulling in the pines thing?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good deal.
Cool.
That is an internet hell, though. We learned that last year. They couldn't even live stream out of there.
Well, there's more locations than you would dream. I think we found out even more this year with the trying to do the countdown to pull time. It's if it wasn't for Starlink, there's a lot of places we'd have nothing.
Right.
It's just it's amazing the cell service. You get away from the interstate, it's not real good. So anyway,
Doug, will you guys be trying to live stream it again this year?
Yeah.
Okay,
yep.
Good.
We
Awesome.
got Starlink this year.
Awesome.
Cool. Did you do any good at Sandwich with merchandise for beer money?
Decent.
I mean, the guy next to you there,
the guy did very well.
Well, I'd never met him before. He's a minister,
Yeah.
And he had the trailer, and I went over there, and he said, you want to plug me, and of course I plugged both of you equally. I'd plug one and then right with the other one. And when I went by there after each show, my God, they were lined up trying to buy his stuff. So,
But the event sure helped. And
well,
like you said, they hadn't been there for years.
7 years since they had NTPA merchandise trailer at Sandwich, and obviously they were hungry for it.
Yep.
I mean, they lined up, and they weren't. You guys, neither one of you were in a very convenient spot. You were on the wrong side, but still, it was a great event, and they bought the heck out of stuff. So, and that's something I don't think a lot of places, or a lot of people consider. I mean, merchandise is a big deal, and everybody wants a T-shirt, or kids want something, and the kids bring grandma and grandpa. And if you ain't got merchandise, what do you tell the kids?
Well, the thing about Sandwich, that's a totally different crowd. I mean, those people are buying a T-shirt because it's different. They don't really care if they know what it means.
We need to have
we
need to have Jason take all the expense and cost, and then I need to get a cut for the shirts that says "woohoo" on the side of it.
We've talked about that for next year, doing some, just basic event shirts and stuff like that. I left my beer money in Toma or something like that. And
when he made those shirts,
a good shirt for Sandwich right there.
When he made the shirts that says with my face on it that said Larry Richwine says smoke machines suck, I went, whoa, am I getting any numeration on this? And he went back and got me half a dozen shirts, and I guess that was my pay. But yeah, I had my face on a black T-shirt that says Larry Richwine says smoke machines suck, which they do if they're working right.
I may or may not own one of those.
Well, don't tell nobody. But, in other words, he gave you one because he couldn't get rid of them too. Huh? So anyway, yeah. So,
what's everybody got coming for this weekend? Nothing. Come on, it's only September.
So we got Wagglers next weekend, and then we have another. So we're going to try doing the diesel drags on Friday night live stream, and then pull on Saturday. And I believe the 16th, maybe, without looking at a calendar. We've got the local. There's a pretty good, like a $25,000 to win. It's the 14th diesel dirt drags in Hub City. You've probably heard of that, Charles.
Yep.
So we're going to do that. And then the following weekend is Lufkin. Then we got a weekend off. And then we've got Diesels and Dark Corners. And then we go to the Golden State Invitational in Madera, California.
I'll just be sitting in my beanbag chair eating Cheetos. But easy. Don't go too far with that. I know.
But I know the rest of that joke.
This weekend, I got to get Linda ready to go to a horse show on Sunday, and I'm going to cut out either Saturday afternoon or Sunday and head to Georgetown because I work down there for the fair the whole week. It's a 6-day fair, and it's a hell of a fair. They let the kids out of school, and the whole community, the whole county seems to come to that event. So anyway,
I'm more likely drag racing.
Cool.
Is NHRA in Chicago or Kansas City or St. Louis or something in the next couple weeks?
No, this is Ice Cream Cruise.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember what NHRA's got up next. Charlotte, I think, is the next one. I've got one local poll that I'm going to do Saturday night. It's a non-sanctioned deal. The Midland Antique Engine Association, they do antique polls on Saturday during the day, and then we'll have a non-sanctioned show in the evening. A couple diesel truck classes, some gas trucks, light limited supers, 10-mile-an-hour farm stock class, and I forget what all else. And I'll be on microphone for that. My son will be in the sled running it, so it'll be a good evening out at Merrill, Michigan, just southeast of Midland.
Cool. Ryan, where are you going?
Toying with going drag racing with Cody. That's an itch I don't get to scratch very often. So,
Well, what could go wrong?
Joplin is next weekend too.
Joplin is an awful long drive.
I may or may not end up at Joplin next weekend because I'll be right south of there anyhow.
Sounds like he's going to be there, guys.
More than likely.
Well, if you're going with Ryan, then you'll probably get to Joplin too.
No, he's not
No,
gonna
screw
work.
him. I'll go ice cream cruising.
No, Joplin's. I thought you were talking about Chrome Shop Mafia Pull, which is the last weekend in September.
I think it's next weekend. I've
It
been
is
told
this coming weekend.
it's the 23rd because Adam's going with trucks.
Cool beans.
The truck show's the last weekend, I was thinking.
Guilty by association. Ryan, when is Joplin? Next weekend, the 23rd? Yeah,
Oh.
see?
It says this weekend.
He would know.
Yeah. So I won't be at following weekend. I thought they had something the last weekend.
Oh, well.
Well, that's it for what we had to talk about tonight. Any final thoughts around the horn from anyone?
No. Other than if you got a mini rod, come to Brown County Fair next Friday night. If you got a mini rod, we're going to need them.
Vern Zerby might be able to use a spare set of hands.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Larry, I found out
It's
according to the Google machine that Georgetown, Ohio is 8 hours and 13 minutes from my house. And now you're tempting me to look into my personal days. So
I'm just saying.
Looks like a fun time.
that poll sounds like a lot of fun.
Especially Friday and Saturday night, it will be standing room only, and it's an awesome show for basically a glorified brush pull. But we've never had a bad show. We've had a couple short shows. That's usually on Wednesday night. But you know, how many people can we draw on a Wednesday night unless you're a Bowling Green or a Toma? I mean, we're talking a county fair, but it really is a good event. And if you do, heck, holler at me. You know what? I can turn the dog. You go walk my dog. I'm taking the German Shepherd with me to Brown County Fair. So, not the Belgian Malinois we talked about last week. I decided he was too high energy. I don't need to fill out the paperwork and the accident reports when they got dog bit or scared to death. I almost had him in here tonight. I almost brought him in here. And I thought, well, it's going to be 11 o'clock my time when we're done, you know, or thereabouts. And I thought, nah, I don't want to try to get wrecked back in the kennel at 11 o'clock at night. But anyway, but I will try to sign on next.
You've chosen to name your dog Wreck.
No, he was named by the breeder. Actually, in the German Shepherd and the Malinois ranks, each litter, let's say the A litter was the first litter that particular kennels had, and then B litter, C litter, whatever. Wherever Wreck was bred, that breeder was on litter W. That's how many litters that they had at that kennel. But they try to give them names with that first letter in the name of the dog, you know, on their registered paperwork. But his is Wreck or something. I don't know what it is. It's Belgian. But he was named Wreck before we got him, but he is a Wreck. And he's an awesome dog. But I may take him next summer but I'm taking one that's Maze, a black German Shepherd. And if anybody needs a German Shepherd puppy, I've got some available. Private message me. We'll fix you right up. Anyway, but I got 2 or 3 all black. I'm amazed how many people like just pure black German Shepherds, but they do. And then the rest of them are bicolor and, normal traditional German Shepherds. But not because Linda raises them, but we've had some very successful litters and some really good dogs have come out of this kennel. So.
What litter are you guys on?
Well, actually, we're on an E litter. The last litter we had was on E litter. But she started working them, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, but or more, I guess. But as far as breeding, the last 3, maybe 4 years, but we're on e-litter. We've got 2 females that we breed that are very, very, very well bred. And she just, in fact, I used to be the guy, and like you guys probably are still, or maybe part of you are, where you drive all night. You know, you say, I'm going to go to Alabama and pick this up, and I'll be right back. Well, the other day she left at 8 o'clock in the morning. Now, this is my lovely bride in a town and country minivan with 3 permanent mounted kennels. And she got home at 2 in the morning after she went south of Huntsville to pick up a female we had bred. I'm going, honey, how fast did you drive? How many 5-hour energy drinks did you drink? But yeah, she drove south of Huntsville and back from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. and had time to visit and pick up the female. I don't know. I'm just glad she didn't get hurt, but she enjoys the dogs, and I have to admit, I can cash flow dogs. Horses, not so much, but dogs, yes. But there's a lot of rich wine German shepherds in the pit area at NTPA events. Put it that way.
Nice.
All right, guys. But
Anybody else?
I'm probably going to get off of here. I don't know if you guys are done or not, but
We're right there. I think we're right there.
if
Final
Jason
words,
was
anyone?
on here with us, he.
Oh,
Not for
hey,
me.
I've got something.
Yeah.
For you drag racing fans, old school drag racing fans, if you're not watching the Shake and Bake show, tomorrow night they've got Scotty Cannon on.
Yes.
That is going to be a must watch or a must listen once the podcast drops the next day or 2 days later, whenever they get it up. That will be well worth watching.
Between Lyle and Stevie Fast, they start winding Scotty up. It's gonna be funny for sure. And
Oh,
there'll
it'll be
some good
hilarious.
stories told. Good call. All right, well, I'll let everybody get on with their night. We'll stick a fork on this one and tune in next week for who knows what we're going to get up to.
Thank you.
See you guys.
See ya.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Later.
guys. Have a great night.
You too.
Mm-hmm.